Speaking as people who enjoy the hobby of video games, E3 season was one of the greatest times in the industry for the humble fan, when all the biggest publishers and developers would kick off summer by announcing their lineup for the year with massive spectacle. But E3 passed away in 2021. It was a mix of poor management and that darn COVID-19 that ended up leaving a big void in the industry that was missed by everyone, but none other than Geoff, Mr. Keighley, if you will, missed it the most. So Jeffrey couldn't stand for this. He went on to make Summer Games Fest, humbly starting out online and has grown into a hopeful replacement for the days of in-person E3 presentation reveals of before. This past E3 season, 2026, has felt more like the good times of E3, with 4 major presentations happening around the span of a week from each other in the beginning of June. Today, I want to go through the highlights of what I'm most excited for and general reviews for all of them, starting with Sony's State of Play on June 2nd.
God of War, Morty, the new one. Kratos is a dad, the kid is curious, like you.
To open the show out is Marvel's Wolverine. Wolverine looks good overall, but I never liked when the Insomniac Spider-Man got all supernatural, you know? The realism work in the grounded nature of it, because the costume and effects in this game are really strange. This was the first look we've had in the game since it was revealed like 2 or 3 years ago. And combat looks cool, but no story? The game comes out in September, and this is pretty much all we have to go off of. An interesting overall approach, but I do appreciate the pure gameplay. Next was Rayman Legends Retold. If they have to remake the most popular, best-selling game in the franchise to get to the real Rayman Raving Rabbids, that's fine by me. Again, the art style is kind of strange, like, why is Rayman realistic? But the game will be good, and it's coming in October. Fantastic overall reveal. For some rapid-fire reveals, we had Kemery. It looks cool, but I really doubt that we won't see it for another 2 years. It feels like one of those games that are really, really far away. They had big franchise remakes of Tomb Raider and Dynasty Warriors, leading into Capcom's new Onimusha trailer. I love Capcom, and they're on the world's greatest, 2026 win streak right now, but it's hard to get excited for Onimusha when there's a million hit guys with a sword in old Japan game. I have faith it'll be a banger though. Next we had some Silent Hill, some random horror game, and then a big reveal of Until Dawn 2. Now, I know that there's an audience for this kind of stuff out there, considering it got a remake and a movie, but the sequel trailer just kind of made me mad, honestly. It showed a cast of unlikable Gen Z characters and a questionable graphical style. After that, it's pretty much the last big reveal of the show, going directly into the first 20 minutes of a brand new God of War game, Lao Fei.
Kratos!
Which was easily the best reveal of the show, and I'm glad that they saved it for last. Instead of being a prequel to your dead wife, it's a sequel of your wife dying. This setting of the Everywhen, a realm where all dead gods hang out and try and reclaim power, you can get infinitely more creative than what they had for Kratos, and the trailer already showed that. As a God of War fan, I was pretty entertained in this gameplay showcase. Pacing was good, and it made me excited to actually play. It's an interesting approach to doing a trailer, but I'd honestly like it better than if it was just a, 90-second CG trailer. It's cool to really speculate what this game's gonna be. If I had to guess, the final boss is probably gonna be Zeus or Ares, because Kratos kind of killed him. And don't worry guys, the Huey Cube will turn into a real boy. I think they're doing the Donkey Kong thing where they show the Odd Rock on promotional material and then change it to Pauline later. There's no way there's just a cube following you around forever. How Sony does their State of Plays is a lot different from other presentations. They don't have a ton to show, but instead they do big explanations of what little they have from the developers themselves. If it's something you're interested in, it's pretty entertaining, but overall can drag a bit like the Until Dawn 2 section. Comparing it to other years where they literally opened up with 15 minutes of CG Concord, it makes it look like a Nintendo Direct level of quality. And as we'll come to see, a lot of PlayStation's biggest franchises left them for other presentations. It's an okay way to open up the season, but probably still a 2.5 out of 5 overall. Nothing that's really going to set the world on fire. I've been pretty critical of Summer Games Fest's actual presentations in the past. There's always a decent beginning and ending, and then a very long, drawn-out middle. But I think back to how E3 would have these whole conferences for EA or Ubisoft. Geoff kind of collects those loose scraps of other publishers and then puts everything into one big stage show. They had a truckload of game announcements this year, but I'm only going to highlight the big ones, the ones that I care about. And what better way to start out the show than with Resident Evil Veronica, the long-awaited and highly rumored Code Veronica remake. The trailer itself was pretty much just a teaser and was trying to hide the big reveal to the end, but come on, Capcom. Everyone knows this grandma looks straight out of the RE engine. When the logo was revealed, we got the crowd's reaction too, which is a small detail that we don't really get anymore. One of the huge benefits of having an actual stage show. Resident Evil is a franchise I got really into this past year, and it's being developed by the same team as the RE2 and 4 remakes. Code Veronica is interesting to me as the continuation of Claire's story from 2, as opposed to Leon's continuation in 4. I haven't heard the greatest things about the original, whether it be the Dreamcast or the GameCube version. The more twisted and original they take it is honestly the better for me. As long as they fix the box art, the original box art of this game, oh my word, is poop. Immediately after, Cuphead came on to deliver breaking news. This is a nitpick, but I wish instead of like playing the trailers, they took advantage of having that actual stage show. Like, what if Geoff was surprised by an interim breaking news announcement and they had like flashing lights on the screen and stuff? It's whatever. Cuphead came on to announce that a sequel, a hand-drawn sequel, is in development with no footage, but at least they showed Mighty Cuphead Adventures, a game that can also be played on a Sega Master System. No year or release window was announced, which I guess Studio MDHR learned their lesson. I just really hope that we see some actual footage within a year. Cool. It's been a really great opening so far. With such heavy-hitting starters, Geoff brings us CG trailers for Alien Isolation 2 and a new game by the Team Eco developers Gen Atlas. Those are great franchise and long anticipated announcements, followed up by an ancient China hit people with sword game. Do you understand why I'm not excited for Onimusha yet? Next up from Sega is Stranger Than Heaven, a highly anticipated original RGG Studios game, so the Yakuza devs, where you go through an entire guy's life through different eras, ranging from 1915 to 1965. We already had a lengthy general showcase, so the big reveal this time was a release date, which is only one day off from my own release date. Oh, and Tupac is here. The discussion around it has been really weird. I think if this was done in 2010 with like Tupac here, no one really would have cared. But because games can get hyper realistic, I think it just threw people off. Then Snoop Dogg took the stage, and man, I hate Snoop Dogg. Anyway, this is the part of Summer Games Fest where we start getting more of the generic, hyper-realistic stuff or very soft teasers without a date. Next is a teaser for honestly one of my most anticipated games of the entire show. From Platinum Games, you know, Metal Gear Rising and Bayonetta 2 fame, comes the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin. I love Platinum Games and I love the Turtles, but Platinum Games isn't what they used to be anymore since Hideki Kamiya left. There's a much greater story there, especially all about Babylon's fall, but I still hope they have some talent left in that studio to really make this game a banger. I really hope I don't have to wait till 2029 or something for this game. For them to open up the trailer with "From the makers of," I'm really trusting them to make this game a banger. Gundam, Chud Wars 3, just a whole lot of really uninteresting titles before we actually get something cool in Virtua Fighter 6 Crossroads. I remember playing Virtua Fighter 4 at the arcade like years ago, and it looks like they're bringing it into more of an adventure game format, similar to Street Fighter 6's World Tour mode, but that's what I'm getting just based off of this trailer. It's been 20 years since the last original game in this series, and I always like to see a franchise come back after a crazy long hiatus, and the trailer has a big fat chud in it. Okay, I wanted to highlight this RuneScape trailer that they keep playing at literally every single showcase. It was at PlayStation, it was at Summer Games, and spoiler alert, it will be at Nintendo. Like, we see it, bro. I could not be less interested, honestly. Geoff used the stage format to bring out Billy the Puppet for multiplayer Saw. If this is a ton of variety, that would be really fun to see. It can't be like more than $40, I hope. Among Us returned to the stage with a brand new single-player game, similar to the Henry Stickmin visual novels. I think I'm just gonna come out and say it. I always liked Among Us, as a franchise and as a game. I thought they were cute and the humor's kind of silly. Not only will I be getting Among Us story on guard, but I am also going to watch the Among Us TV show. If the gods allow it, I might be able to scrape together an Among Us night for Among Us in 2026. After that, we have the expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds Ascension. I never got into Monster Hunter Wilds. The entire game was mired in controversy for performance issues. And it's just Monster Hunter World 2. I really don't like World all that much, even compared to 4. I'm glad the expansion was announced. It was inevitable. I just wish I could have gone into it personally, I guess. Sonic the Hedgehog crosses over with Evangelion in reused City Escape assets from Generations. Oh, don't cry, little Sonic fan. Sonic Team has enough 360 era Generations assets to reuse for your entire life. Izuka, bring out Green Hill Zone. The boy's hungry. This next one doesn't make very much sense to me. Stellar Blade 1 was a PlayStation exclusive, at least before the Nintendo Direct comes out. So why is Geoff the one showing off Stellar Blade 2? I never played Stellar Blade 1 because my PS5 is in the living room. Stellar Blade 2, while a good trailer with cinematics, gameplay, and it's a recognizable developer and a franchise, has the fatal flaw of 95% of these trailers. No release date, not even a release window. There were barely any dates during the whole presentation, just on stuff we've known for years now, like Stranger Than Heaven. Every single trailer has been 2027 at the latest, or no date, or no window. Rounding us out, Street Fighter 6 showed off some DLC with Tifa from Final Fantasy 7. Fans have begged for Tifa in any fighting game for years now. A lot thought it was going to be Tekken, including me, because they originally got Clive from Final Fantasy 16. Tifa then leads directly into the final reveal of the night. Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the last part in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. This segment was monumental. The initial reveal trailer they showed would have been on par with a lot of the other reveals, but then it segues into Yamaguchi, the director, and Matt Mercer with his sexy little voice to give us a more detailed look into the game's new mechanics. It's an overview of the job system, the world, new synergy attacks, Sid, Vincent, and leaving us off with the Sapphire Weapon teaser. What a great segment. It looks better than Rebirth until Yamaguchi hits us with the
I think we ended the video too early. I hate to leave a story unfinished.
At last,
Oh my
the
God,
promise is fulfilled.
finally!
The journey ends here.
Summer Games Fest this year actually had a surprising amount of quality. Good trailers, good pacing, and a huge cutback on the amount of ads that they normally show. Big franchises chose to snuggle up to Geoff, and seeing as a lot of these titles are multi-platform, I get why they left PlayStation's showcase. Stellar Blade 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, Final Fantasy VII. These were once the crown jewels of Sony's old press conference that have left to be at SGF. Even with Xbox, they were the ones that originally presented the Stranger Than Heaven Direct, but then Sega went on to show the release date with Geoff. Was the draw of a real stage presentation, using this example, they brought out Snoop Dogg and Tupac. The reason? Xbox also lost Cuphead, which went on to be the opener at SGF. Whatever the reason is, it has all led to Summer Games' benefit. The biggest drawback, however, is the lack of Nintendo's presence, other than an ad slot, and they still lack release dates. You can show your hyper-realistic trailer, but then following it up with a wish list now, it's simply begging for everyone to forget about it within, honestly, until after the showcase is over. Geoff, I'll be nice and hand you a 3.5 out of 5 today. You earned it, champ. Let's hope you take the lessons learned today and bring it with you to the Game Awards this December. Alright, Xbox's game showcase is up next, and normally, Xbox actually has a pretty fat load of games to show off from their mountain of studios that they bought. Ironically, those games may never come out before Xbox lays off the entire development studio. But, please, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's try and get through the showcase first. Opening on a sequence from Gears of War E-Day, very similar to God of War Lao Phase segment. I was pretty freaking bored during this part, honestly. Like, yeah, it's a cover shooter, the genre from the Xbox 360 is back. It looks fine. Like, overall, Gears of War is then announced to be an Xbox console exclusive only. No planned PC port or PS5 port. For the sake of, everyone, I hope that it reaches 1 million copies, but pulling a move like this late into your console's life, I don't know. Fable, after being announced 5 years ago, is shown again with a release date. But if it didn't have the Fable name attached, would anyone really care? I mean, obviously, it didn't speak to me at all. It feels like we've already seen this kind of stuff all the time. Persona 4 Revival looks incredible, but more importantly, the trailer is phenomenally edited. While I love Persona as a franchise, I want to put that bias aside and really set this trailer as a good base. It teases just a bit about everything, showing off a voice snippet from each main character, sharing some of the menus, the new original battle track, new gameplay additions, and then ending it off with a set release date of February 18th, 2027. All accomplished within 2 minutes. If I already know about your game, this should be the set formula that your trailer should follow. After Persona 4 is a bunch of big franchise sequels mixed in with teasers and new trailers like State of Decay 3, Metro 2039, a very cute looking Bad Magpie game, and then another ancient Asia hit people with sword type of game. Senua from the series Senua Saga is getting a third title in the form of what seems to be a spin-off. But I don't think it will ever see the light of day. But look, I'll save that for the end. Let's just get through these games first. Doom the Dark Ages is getting DLC, which is a pretty safe prediction, followed by Crazy Taxi World Tour. Finally, we get to see that new Crazy Taxi game. Putting aside the crazy controversy that followed, the game looks great, but also a trailer that really harnesses the essence of especially that first game. All the way back in 2023, Sega announced a power surge of reviving their dormant IP, which makes it a little disappointing that this game is 2027 considering how long we've known about it. At least now the marketing is starting to ramp up. Minecraft Dungeons 2, that really subpar Minecraft spin-off released in 2020, getting a sequel I guess. Castlevania Belmont's Curse gets a new trailer looking really sharp. This one is made by the Dead Cells team. I have full faith in it. This one offered a nice look at all the bosses and brand new artwork coming October 15th, 2026, a perfect time to release it. I wish that more studios would give away their dormant IP to an indie team with genuine love for the franchise, similar to how Bubsy 4D did earlier this year. Yeah, there's nothing too special after this, just...
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh my...
Yeah, so Persona 6 just was announced. You can celebrate by buying a $50 black shirt with the logo on it. All jokes aside, Persona 6 was just revealed for the very first time. Finally, after a decade out of the release of 5, the first teaser is here and we are officially green. A very short teaser, but nothing we're not used to in this franchise. I think the sad part is that if I had to guess, we'll be playing this game in 2028, but just finally having it here, that's a dream come true. Literally immediately followed up is a brand new Spyro the Dragon game from Toys for Bob, the same studio as the Reignited trilogy. It looks to be taking a very different direction now that Spyro has full flight. A short trailer with little bits of gameplay, but immediately Toys for Bob was sharing concept art on Spyro's new design ahead of its launch in spring of 2027. After that reveal, things finally start to wrap up. A game that was shown off years ago, Clockwork Revolution, Call of Duty 25, Modern Warfare 4, and then a Gears of War E-Day Direct, which means you can close the laptop and go about your day. Xbox was somehow able to show off tons of giant first reveals and new trailers that the other shows just couldn't get. Not bad pacing throughout, and a lot of these games, while 2027, had actual release dates or windows. Is it crazy to give Xbox a 4 out of 5 showcase? I mean, even looking back at the list, it was still fantastic. But there is one elephant in the room I want to address with Xbox. So on the surface, the presentation was great, but it's safe to assume that a lot of these games, only the first party ones from Xbox that we saw, probably won't ever be coming out, or they will be the last games from these studios. That trailer I teased earlier, Senua, was made by Ninja Theory. After the showcase, Xbox had announced that they already planned to shut down Ninja Theory, but put this game in the showcase that they could make a bid to other studios to purchase it and save them from closure. They threw them one last final chance before they fully cut them off. And it's just sad. It's sad that the executives are the ones making these decisions over at Xbox. The same ones that will never interact with the product, never interact with the developers, and are still reportedly planning another massive wave of layoffs in the coming weeks. Apparently, meant to be the biggest ones yet. How do you expect game developers to make good products when they're constantly at risk of losing their job? It's an awful Xbox machine they made from their first-party studios, and that is what the Xbox brand will forever be known for. Because we all know, it was never known for making good games. Unlike those guys! Nintendo finally gave us a general direct after 9 months and a Treehouse presentation directly after. Nintendo was the one I was most excited for because the release calendar was looking pretty dry for the rest of the year. Once Splatoon launches in late July, there was literally nothing on the horizon with a dedicated date. Expectations for this direct were pretty high. The one issue with this direct, however, was watching it live was a much less enjoyable experience than watching a replay. When it's live, you are forced to sit through a lot of the junk they cram into an hour, anxiously waiting for your one wish to be there. And like the others, I'm only highlighting the big ones or the things I care about. After Rhythm Heaven releases, Nintendo won't be making any more games for the Switch 1 anymore, and we can go back to having a big show opener. Until then, the opener was the overview trailer of Rhythm Heaven Groove. At the time of this video, Groove already came out, and the more I see of it online, the more I actually really want to play it myself. It's not a very hard concept to understand, so I felt like this whole 5-minute spot was kind of redundant. But directly after, Koizumi introduces us to the Switch 2 only stuff, or the Switch 2 and a Switch version, starting with, once again, Onimusha. Having a trailer that breaks down the game's mechanics made me moderately more excited for this title, but now I just feel like I gotta wait for reviews before getting this. Stellar Blade is getting ported to the Switch 2, and we get another trailer for Orbitals, a game I am actually beyond excited for. It's like It Takes Two, but with an absolutely jaw-dropping early 90s anime art style. Everything they've shown up to this point inspires a lot of confidence, so I really hope they can stick the landing and have it be as beloved as a Hazelight game it was very clearly inspired by. Orbital's also got a release date of September 3rd later this year, with a physical copy all on the cartridge. Okay, why are we dedicating an entire segment to a mobile phone game? The pixel art is so inconsistent, especially mixed with this regular looking typeface that wonderfully illustrates to you the kind of junk that you have to sit through when watching this thing live. Pokopia is getting a free content update and an expansion pass with its first wave of content in August. That's in 1 month. These other showcases could never dream of releasing a game in August. Following that up is a big info dump on Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which is essentially Fire Emblem 4 houses. It's hard to get a good grasp on this title, these characters, and just the greater plot. We don't know what's up with Sothis or any of the other units, if it has the calendar back. Everything feels shrouded in a pretty big air of mystery. The only substantial bit of new content was in the last 20 seconds. I feel like this game just hasn't hooked me yet, like how 3 Houses did all those years ago. Or maybe I might just be out of Fire Emblem. I don't know, but with a release date of September 17th, they're running out of time to honestly grab me. And the $80 price tag makes it a much harder pill to swallow. If I had to guess, we'll see a Fortune's Weave Direct later this year. Then they had Take the DK Challenge. Hit the Kremlin 29,998,559,671,349 times in a row. Donkey Kong, wherever you swing, I hereby accept your challenge. It was fine for like an hour. I wish that the challenges were more than just, oh, beat this level, and it was like, I don't know, beat this level with like Rambi or something. I don't know. It's not my job to think of the DK challenge. The next important thing is the Xenoblade Chronicles Switch 2 edition. I've been wanting one for 3 since Switch 2 was announced. The first one for Xenoblade 1 arrives later today, while 2 and 3 arrive later this year. Xenoblade with 1080p and a stable frame rate, I never thought I'd see the day. Immediately, we are then introduced to Xenoblade Genesis, a new start for the Xenoblade franchise. The trailer for Genesis has gorgeous visuals, it's super bright and vibrant, a really cool world design, fantastic music, but the anime trope of magic school doesn't hook me nearly like Xenoblade 3's does. There's still a lot of time to see what's going on with the release window of 2027, but as of right now, it's just, I don't know, Genesis just hasn't hooked me in the way that I really wanted it to. After Xenoblade is where we got the thumb wrestling for Switch Sports Resort, that same RuneScape trailer I've seen for the 3rd time, and less than a minute of the Duskbloods? The Duskbloods is From Software's big Switch 2 game set to launch later this year, and we have realistically only seen it at the Switch 2 Reveal Direct back in April of 2025. It's still set for 2026 with an online playtest in August? We're gonna be able to play the game before we even see gameplay of it? I'm not sure what their big plan is, but it seems like they're gonna miss that October release window, or else they would have announced it there. We got some Splatoon Raiders information on stuff we already knew, followed up by a little flower sprouting up out of the ground to deliver us Deltarune. It was a pretty safe bet to have Deltarune show up, but even so, the hype could not be more real. Chapter 5 has already been released at the time of writing this, and it's the best chapter easily so far. Deltarune is going to be one of the greatest games of all time once it's all finished. It's such a nice little teaser trailer, and then having the release date be, oh, here, just wait 3 weeks. I would have had this video done sooner if I wasn't playing Deltarune, honestly. Metaphor ReFantazio is getting a Switch port, not to spoil the top 25 games of 2025, but Metaphor is in the top 2. Now is a great chance to play it as long as they don't botch it up like they did the Persona 3 port. As we start to wrap things up, Kingdom Hearts finally gets native ports to the Switch 2. That could have been done on a Switch 1 if they weren't so lazy. They announced this to lead into the first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 in 4 years. It's a fairly similar remix trailer from the same teaser that really tells us how this game is going through rough development problems. No date, not even a release window, but it'll be there the same day on Switch 2. The last reveal of the showcase kind of annoys me. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is getting totally reborn, on their words not mine, for Switch 2 in 2026. So the game is coming out in 2026, and why don't we have a date? There's 5 months left in the year. The trailer is one giant teaser too, with only a singular look at Baby Link at the very end. This was the most telling sign that this Nintendo Direct was late, and we should have seen this months ago. It really softened the impact when we're treating this game like it's 8 months out, when it'll probably drop in November. That was the only out of character thing in this whole Direct. Other than that, it was a pretty freaking good Direct. Nintendo accomplished their goal of filling out the rest of the year's calendar. And I guess because they waited so long, we actually had release dates for things launching in sometimes just a couple months, the same day, a couple of weeks. It's actually exciting for people who play video games. Nintendo Directs can start to lag this generation for people that keep up with the other companies. So a lot of things that should be big reveals are just ports of games that are already on other platforms. Even so, taking everything into account, this is a big fat 4 out of 5 direct. Maybe if we didn't have to wait 9 months, some of the fat would be trimmed off, or if it opened with Xenoblade Genesis instead of being in the middle, but still. That was all of E3 2026, and one can only hope to keep up that same energy next year. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I think we all kind of agreed that this was the most E3 feeling years since E3 died. Now that all the showcases came and went, let's go through a big fat shopping cart and go over what games I will be buying day one, and then what games I'm going to wait for a review or get on sale. From the state of play, the day one games are... Alright, next up, the games from the state of play I would get on sale or wait for a review: God of War Laufey, Rayman Legends, and Onimusha. From Summer Games Fest, day one purchases are both Cupheads, Resident Evil Veronica, Stranger Than Heaven, TMNT The Last Ronin, Among Us Story, and Final Fantasy VII Revelation. The only one I would keep in mind for a sale is Stellar Blade Blood Rain. From Xbox, day one is Persona 4 Revival, Crazy Taxi World Tour, Castlevania Belmont's Curse, Persona 6, and then I would get Spyro if it was on sale. Lastly, from Nintendo, day one is Orbitals and Splatoon Raiders, both of which I already pre-ordered, Deltarune and Star Fox, both of which I already played, then the Duskbloods and Ocarina of Time. Reviews or a sale would be for Xenoblade Genesis and Rhythm Heaven Groove. For my own sanity, I'm not going to add any of that up on how much it would cost. And that, my little chudlings, is E3 2026. Remember to leave milk and cookies out for little old Geoff this December, and I'll see you all at the Game Awards. Good night, everyone.